Hey guys, John here from Wild Scooter Parts. We get a lot of calls and a lot of questions about Razor controllers, throttles, how to hook them up, what wires are what. And we've done a lot of troubleshooting videos in the past, but one thing we always tell people, take the equipment off the scooter and test it there, but nobody knows how to do that. Then another question we get a lot is on the controllers, the newer ones, what are this? There's two extra wires. They could be various colors. What are they? Let's go through this and let's make one final catch-all for every Razor question we have gotten in the last 7 years. So let's get started here. First of all, Razor controller. This is for like an E300. So you have a bunch of connectors. Here's the thing that's common about all Razor controllers and most controllers in general. The thick blue and yellow always goes to the motor. The thick red and black always goes to the battery. That almost never changes, okay? Then we got a couple more. The connector with a whole bunch of pins, 6-pin connector, that goes to a throttle. Now, this happens to be a Razor single-speed throttle. There's single-speed and multi-speed. You know, the single-speed, it's on or off. You can just tell just by twisting it. But we're going to go with this throttle because it's used on the majority of Razors, not all. Okay, I'm going to plug that on in. Then we have two connectors here, and James, that's taking the video here, will tell me which one is the brake.
That one.
This one is the brake right here. So that goes to your brake switch. What that does, when you close the brake, it connects the two wires and kills power to the scooter. You could already see a recipe for a problem if that switch shorts, the wire shorts, it goes bad. The other one goes to the charger port. Real simple. Then we're left with these two. What are these two mysterious wires? People hook everything up and they don't know what to do with these two. They say the scooter won't go. Well, let's find out. Right here I have a power supply that's going to simulate the battery pack in your scooter. We just got it wired up on the bench. So first thing we're going to do is give it power, which isn't too hard right here. Okay, so I am going to plug the proper connector in. And once I get it in here, always make sure your pins are aligned. Once I get it in, we will have power. Okay, we got power. So throttle's connected, right? Motor, blue and yellow. Always a thick blue and yellow. Okay, hit the throttle. Nothing. Reason is simple. It's those two wires we were talking about. What they are, they go to a switch. And I'm just going to grab a switch right here. Your power switch in your Razor looks like this. And if you ever aren't sure which way is on after all these years, don't feel bad. It has happened to me. But I have a way of remembering it all the time. I is on, not O. I remember that as it turns on an ion generator. Don't ask me where I got that. Crazy, but you're going to remember I said that. I is always on. I is the ion generator. So all the switch does is it's going to connect and disconnect these two wires. So to test and eliminate the switch, we can just connect them like that. There'll be a tiny spark. With those connected, I have power. Now notice I have nothing else hooked up. The motor to the thick blue and yellow, battery to the thick red and black, throttle, and then I connect these two together. You could take your parts off your scooter and test your equipment this way. If you need to test your throttle, one of these single speed throttles, we have a video, I think it's the ultimate Razor troubleshooting video. It's called, it shows you how to test the throttle by jumping some pins because it's basically just a switch. Okay, so we got that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this real quick because we're going to show you the one Razor controller that's different. Now, I could show you our variable speed kit. We were going to, but honestly, it works just like the Razor throttle and setup, except the Razor controller, I'm sorry, except it's a true variable speed. So you can control your speed. It's not like an on and off switch. Besides the throttle portion of this, everything else works the same. Thick red and black to power, thick blue and yellow to motor. Then we have the charger port and the brake line there. And of course, those two wires nobody knows what to do with go to the switch. Okay? So we're going to show you the E100 or the E100 series. You know, Razor works in series. So when I say E300, I mean E325, 350, 375, E100, E150, E125, E175. It uses a controller that looks like this. And even if you're familiar with the other ones, this looks very confusing, all these wires. What do we got? Well, let's get back to basics again. We got a thick blue and yellow. We know where that goes. That goes to a motor. So you hook it to the motor on the scooter. And this is just simulating your scooter, this setup here. we got a thick red and black. Well, I think that goes to a battery just like all the rest, right? And that's what we're going to do, connect it to a battery. Now, we end up with all these strange ones. Well, it does need a throttle, and it happens to use the same throttle as the E100, as the E300s and all that, the single speed. And usually with Razor, if it connects, it's good, and that connects. So we got a throttle. So we wind up with this guy, and these two, okay? This is the charger port. That's it. It goes to the charger port. This one here is where it gets a little tricky. It's a brake switch, just like on the E300s, except this one works the opposite. When you connect it, it will allow the scooter to move. Disconnected, like right now, nothing will happen, okay? And then once again, 2 wires with quick disconnects, just like the other ones. I wonder what they're for. They're for a switch. I'm just going to plug this switch in because it's hard to connect these with the covers on them. Just so you know, on a switch, when there are 3 terminals, the 2 that are the same color are for the switch. The one that's a different color is a ground wire to activate the light in the switch only. It does nothing else. It doesn't affect how it works. So always connect these 2 to the 2 of the same color. So we're just going to slide them on there. And like I said, you won't forget, make sure you turn on the ion generator. And then we're all connected. Still nothing. We hear a click, but it won't go. Now, we know we have to kick off on the E100. So what we're going to do is simulate a kickoff. I know that. I know I didn't. That's what I'm going to show everybody. Simulate a kickoff here. So there. Still not going. Let's try it again. Nothing. Now, if you listen, you hear that click? If I had $1 for every time somebody called us and said, my scooter makes a click but doesn't go. There you go. What's wrong? That brake wire. It needs to be jumped on these in order for the scooter to go. Now, what the brake switch will do when it's connected, the brake wire will actually do that. When you let go of the brake, it's jumped. When you squeeze it, it's like pulling that away. Now, still just a click, but of course we got to kick off on E100s. E100s will never go by hitting the throttle. You got to kick off and start moving on the scooter before it will go. So let's do that. There you go. There you go. See, it works fine. As long as I'm moving, I can apply and release the throttle, right? But if I go too slow and I go to apply it, click. So once again, you kick off, simulate the kickoff here. Goes. Now what happens if you were to hit that brake while you're riding? It dies. Okay, so this is how you bench test the E100 controller. I can't imagine us getting any simpler about this. This just simulates your scooter, and what I was doing to get it spinning is just simulating you kicking off. You could do that with your hand on the wheel. You could use a drill and kind of get the barrel of the drill on there and spin it up. It's got to spin pretty fast, okay? We get a lot of crazy questions here and a lot of good questions, and with this video, I think we addressed every possible question we've gotten about these controllers and throttles. Like I said, the throttle we're not going to talk about here. If you want to test that, it's in our other video. Just go watch it. That's it. Battery voltage we should just talk about real quick, and we talk about that in all of our videos. When you test battery voltage, before you even do any of this, if you want to come in here with the camera, I want to show them where they put the probes. You want to put, with the power onto the scooter, put your probes for your voltmeter right in the red and black on this side, the controller side of the connector. That goes for any of the controllers. And you want to see your voltage. And you want to have 24, 26 volts. And on a 36 volt model, you're going to have like 38, 39 volts. Keep that connected, and it's hard, but try to operate the scooter. If you have a problem, a lot of people say, I take off on the scooter and then it dies right away. It only goes a couple feet. Or once the wheel goes on the ground, it dies. Well, watch that voltage when you take off with the scooter. If it drops dramatically, you got bad batteries. And to be honest with you, the majority of problems people have with scooters that we diagnose on the phone and that come in here to the shop, all they need is new batteries. So batteries, 90% of the time, always check the batteries. If you have a load tester, load test them, bring them somewhere to get them load tested. A lot of times at a stop, they'll show great voltage. In fact, just about every time they die on a scooter, the voltage seems fine. The charger charges them up and they say, well, I got 26 volts. Yeah, but as soon as you put a load on it, that drops to like nothing. So that's your problem. And I think that's about it. I'm not going to try to challenge everybody to give us new questions that we haven't heard, but if you do have one, we'd love to hear it. Feel free to email us, contact us via our website, call us. You got our phone number. If you like us, buy our variable speed kit. It's really nice. We actually sent a guy to China to the factory that makes these controllers and had the controller and throttle set up specifically designed for our application. So it works great. I don't think any other vendor travels the world just to make scooter parts other than us. But want to know about performance stuff, you call us. Anything else, you give us a call. And I hope this video helped you out, and we'll catch everybody later.